language is a part of the architecture that we use for making sense of our world. Not only does it open up possibilities, but in truth, because it's so highly defined, it also closes down our capacity to sometimes think outside of the box. For a lot of our development as a species on the planet, it's opened up lots of possibilities. It's made the logic for our thinking processes writ large. You know, the world that we've created around us is a product of our patterns for thinking. And those patterns have become very highly defined over the millennia, over the last 2,000 years. Those patterns are still good, perhaps. They will still move us forward. But some commentators are actually saying, if we're going to progress on the planet, we need some new kinds of thinking. And it could be that we have been over-reliant on the methods for thinking that come easily to us, and language is one of them. So, in fact, Nikki and I, in our work on the captured thought, we are very interested in the idea of conversations without words, how communication can take place on other levels without using language, because this opens up the options for thinking more freely, thinking more creatively, not overly defining ourselves with previous options that we've used before, and that could be a big release. It could be a big opportunity to do better thinking for the future. And many commentators are saying that better thinking for the future is critical to our development as a species at this moment in time.
So I think it's actually the storytelling that really kick-started the uniqueness of the linguistic abilities of humans. And that storytelling, of course, provided the conduit for creativity, with and without words, because we can tell stories very beautifully with words, as so many great novels demonstrate. But we can also tell stories through pictures, and we can tell stories through sounds, beautiful musical compositions, and we can tell stories through the medium of dance. And all of those kinds of storytelling are things that in principle one can do without words. And then an interesting question becomes whether other animals might be able to tell stories as well, albeit much more limited ones, without the development of the complexities of our language, because probably what our thinking with words gives us is levels of recursion, levels of ordering things, and understanding that when A said it to B, it didn't necessarily follow that B said it to A. And of course the richness of that is illustrated beautifully in Shakespeare and opera, the delightful ambiguity that you can have despite the precision of a word having a label. The way we use our language recursively allows us to have this ambiguity, and that's what allows for the creative storytelling that probably prompted us. And then of course we can also use that ability without reliance on words. But the reliance on words can constrain creativity precisely because the temptation is then to try to remove some of the ambiguity. Sometimes that's important. If you're driving a car and you're coming up to a stop line, you don't want the red signal to be ambiguous. But when you're being creative, that's precisely what you want, right? So that you can wonder about its meaning and wonder about how to interpret it, and delight in being able to interpret it in different ways.